So finally, we have some amazing news with GPU pricing and availability. Finally, a GPU that you're actually going to want to probably buy that's going to hit that sweet spot. Finally, these are coming down as well. Look at this example here. I saw this today. $699 for an Asus TUF 3070 Ti. This GPU just yesterday was $949 basically everywhere. I did my video yesterday going to a store and seeing what I can find. In fact, I saw this very same GPU at $949. That's around a $280 price difference. We're talking about 28%, almost 30% cheaper. 3070 Ti is a substantially good GPU. Yesterday, I said that the 6700 XT that I found, an open box, which was around $679, at the time at least, presented the best value for a GPU that I could have bought at that store. And while you're checking out these GPU price drops, remember to smash that like button. They say every time you smash that like button, your chance will go up that it's actually going to be in stock and at a much cheaper MSRP than you even thought. So smash that like button. But seeing this today, $699 is really good. I mean, the MSRP of the Founders Edition is $599. And if you consider this is a third-party AIB, which is usually more expensive anyway, it's going to have a little bit of that fancy Asus cooler. $100 markup really isn't that bad. And you can basically consider $699 a fair MSRP price for this GPU. $949, as you can see by comparison, is really way out of proportion. This is proof that the market is crashing really hard, really fast. It seems like week after week we're seeing this happen. Remember to watch the whole video because I'm going to show you guys some other GPUs that are probably going to go down even harder in price, and it's going to include stuff that you're definitely going to want, like 3090s, 3080 Ti's. Things like that are very susceptible to having a tremendous amount of price decreases happen across the board. So let's first address this 3070 Ti. This is an Asus TUF. Like I said, a great GPU. Asus makes some good stuff. The only issue is generally it's a lot more expensive than anything else. Typically, if you find a good priced NVIDIA GPU that's not a Founders Edition, EVGA definitely is going to be your best bet. They're going to have some of the lower markups from any GPU, from the 3060, 3050 all the way up to a 3090. Now, Asus makes some great aesthetically pleasing products. My main issue with them is that they have an insane markup for a lot of their GPUs. 3070 Ti, this very GPU, they were selling it for $949, and in fact, that's even discounted from earlier when this GPU used to be almost $1,100 just a few months ago. This really wasn't that long ago. We're talking about the end of last year. So you can see how fast and how far the prices are tumbling. That means that people are just not buying them. So my word of advice to you, unless you find a deal like this and it's in stock and you can get it now, I would wait just a little bit longer. I know we say this all the time, should you wait? And by then the next new thing comes out. But now, big changes are happening. It seems like day after day. I just checked yesterday and this GPU was $280 more. So you may not be able to get it at this price because of course everybody's going to buy it at this price, but this means good news for prices going forward during the next several days and the next several weeks. We're not even talking about wait until the end of the year for prices to go down. We're talking about prices getting better pretty much immediately. So keep an eye on prices every single day. It's possible you may catch this in stock, or you may see another product, another GPU that you actually want, not one of these overpriced pieces of crap, to be frank, like a 6500 XT, which is a really poor excuse for a GPU. You don't have to settle for something like that when you may be able to fit in your budget actually a reasonably high performing GPU. So 3070 Ti, $699, and Asus, sort of pretty much a premium model. The only one that may be a little better is the Strix, but this one's going to perform literally just as well. And if you're paying this much for it, I think it's a very, very fair price. Pretty shocked to see this price actually. I still can't believe that a 3070 Ti is $699 being sold from Newegg. Now, of course, availability is going to be a whole other issue. If they're this price, I'm sure they're going to sell out pretty fast. Eventually, that means everything else is coming down. If a premium product like this one is already having such a massive markup, pretty soon you're going to be seeing EVGA and other GPUs in stock at sort of the price that they should be. And these really terrible inflated prices, we're going to look at them and almost feel insulted that we ever considered or even did pay these prices. But what are you going to do? We're in the middle of the worst GPU GPU market craze that we've ever seen. So this is just a result of conditions getting better. Now, what other GPUs should you keep an eye on? Some of the AMD GPUs may actually pique your interest because they're going to be a lot cheaper now than they were during the last several months. I've said time and time again that the 6700 XT up to the 6900 XT, very good performing GPUs, with the caveat that if you do prefer NVIDIA, just remember there are certain things you're not going to get. There's certain NVIDIA specific technologies. People do think NVIDIA is a little more premium, have better drivers. All of these points certainly can be valid. Ray tracing and even DLSS are better on the NVIDIA side as opposed to the AMD side, which has similar technologies, but they're not quite as mature. So keep that in mind. But if you can get one of these AMD GPUs that are really going down hard in price, case in point, 6900 XT, we saw them inflated with pricing a huge amount, even worse than NVIDIA GPUs. I remember seeing a $2,600 6900 XT, which should be a $999 MSRP with a reference edition. Now, a lot of these models, such as the Power Color Red Devil, they're coming down closer to reality. They're maybe like $1,299. Some open box you can even find for $1,000 to $1,100 if you look closely enough. So AMD GPUs are bound to go down a lot because people are not buying them at these inflated prices. If they're not buying NVIDIA at high prices, and even something like a 3070 Ti can go down, imagine what that's going to do to AMD. If they don't lower prices, they're going to continue to stay on the shelves. As of yesterday, things are changing really quickly. The best deal that I found in the store that I went to, Micro Center, was that $679 open box 6700 XT. This Asus TUF 3070 Ti beats it any day of the week at $699. So that shows you how fast things are evolving. And if you can get a GPU even cheaper than that, like even a regular 3070, who knows if they might start popping up. We may be into seeing some really tremendous deals. And after looking at such high pricing during the last few months, even a regularly priced GPU is going to seem like an amazing deal. So let's keep going down the list of other GPUs that I think are going to have a huge price decrease. I think aside from those AMD GPUs, you're going to see the 3080 Ti see a similar fate. Right now, nobody is buying the 3080 Ti. If you search, you can probably find an Asus, again, TUF or Strix 3080 Ti in stock in many places. And what's the main reason nobody's buying them? Crazy high prices. We're talking about around $1,899 to even over $2,000 for a 3080 Ti. Now, they have decent coolers. They look cool after all, but it's not worth a huge price markup. It's not going to be worth it over something like an EVGA 3080 Ti for the 1.3, which may be $400 to $500 cheaper for literally the same GPU, just a different cooler. Performance will even be very, very similar. I've actually even had some bad experiences with some of the Asus coolers, especially the VRAM. They get a lot hotter in some cases than the EVGA ones do. Not to mention the Founders Edition at $1,200. You're paying $800 here for the Asus name or whatever it may be. MSI has some really expensive ones too. I don't want to just point out Asus. Zotac does as well. So the 3080 Ti, even though it's really high, you'll find a lot of them over $1,700. I think after the 3070 Ti, that's going to be the one you're going to see the most aggressive prices decreasing because nobody wants to buy them at that price, especially with a new generation possibly coming out. Nobody likes it. Gamers don't want to pay that much. Crypto miners can buy a 3080 Ti at a good price, but generally they're LHR, so they don't really serve the purpose as well as maybe like a non-LHR or even a 3090. So you're going to see these prices come down. If the Asus Strix 3070 Ti went down almost 30%, imagine 30% on a $2,000 3080 Ti Asus. We're talking about maybe close to $500 or $600. If you saw an Asus TUF or Strix for like even $1,600, let's be completely fair here and not even say really cheap, that becomes a lot more reasonable, $1,500 to $1,600 for, you know, what is a premium 3080 Ti rather than almost $2,000. Of course, everybody wants to get a $1,200 to $1,400 Founders Edition or for the 1.3, but those remain really, really difficult to be able to get at that price. So 3080 Ti, in my opinion, is the one that has the most ballooned pricing, and keep an eye on it. If you're looking for a high-end GPU, it's going to be just as good as the 3090 for gaming, and you're going to be able to probably pay a considerable amount less. Now, what about the 3090? We know $1,500 Founders Edition MSRP. Do I see those going down in price? Best Buy seemed to have a drop today that had mostly 3090s. They had a lot of them, more than normal. Now, a lot of people don't necessarily want to buy a 3090, not because it isn't a great performing GPU. It really is, and 24 gigabytes of VRAM is going to be good for hybrid users like gamers and content creators. It's great for all sorts of things. And don't forget, it's not LHR, so it's going to be even great for crypto miners. It just happens to pull a lot of power, and it's sometimes not that easy to cool. You may have like VRAM problems. And while the prices certainly are elevated much more than normal, in my opinion, it's not as bad as the 3080 Ti. The 3080 Ti should be considerably less, but a lot of those models, especially the premium ones, end up being very close in price to a 3090. So while I think the 3090 will definitely go down in price a bit, you may see them in the high, like, thousands, like a little bit under 2,000, maybe a $2,200 GPU now may go down to like $1,999 or something like that. I don't think the difference is going to be quite as big as the 3080 Ti. Alright guys, so let me know what you think about these price drops. This is a very aggressive price drop. It's not just some, minor thing changing here or there. This is an indication that prices are finally going back to normal. Remember to subscribe, smash that like button, and I'll see you guys on the next video.